Let's say you're in math test. You saw this question, what are you gonna do with it? Let me guess, probably multiple lines of work and shit. But what if I tell you, you only need one line to solve the question? Today I'm going to talk about 3 equations that you need to know to solve a linear equation. And I guarantee you'll know everything you need about linear equations after this video. So let's start with the first equation. And most of you probably know this. The basic formula for a linear equation, y equals mx plus c. Well, x and y is just the coordinates of a point, m is the gradient, which refers to the steepness of a line, c is the y-intercept, which is the value of y you will get when a line passes through the y-axis. Usually, you'll be able to use this equation when 2 points are given. Let's say you're given 2 points, 2, 5 and 4, 7. To find the equation of this line, we first have to find the gradient of the line. The gradient of the line is given by the change in y divided by the change in x. In mathematical terms, we can notate it as the second y coordinate minus the first y coordinate divided by the second x coordinate minus the first x coordinate. This works for every linear equation as long as you have 2 points of the line. So in our case, 7 minus 5 equals 2 and 4 minus 2 equals 2. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, so the gradient of the line is 1. Afterwards, we will substitute m equals 1 into our general linear equation, making it y equals 1x plus c. To find c, the y-intercept, we just have to substitute one of our points into the equation we have gotten. Right now, we will take 2, 5, making it 5 equals 1 times 2 plus c. 5 equals 2 plus c, we arrange it so we get 5 minus 2 equals 3. Finally, substituting c equals 3 into the equation we have gotten, the answer is y equals x plus 3. And this is the general question you will see in a test. But sometimes odd things happen, just like our life. What if the question gives us something like this, which doesn't match with the general linear equation? At this point, we will have to use a slightly different one then. ax plus by equals c. Well, x and y are still variables. A is the coefficient of x, which is the number that x is multiplied to. B is the coefficient of y, which is the number that y is multiplied to. C is just a number, not to be confused with the c in y equals mx plus c. And the way you have to trace it back to the general equation is very simple. Just remember, y should not have any coefficient, meaning that it should only be there alone, even without a negative. Also, y should be separated by everything on the different side of the equal sign. So basically what you have to do is to move everything except y to the other side. Just to give you guys a glimpse, the general gradient and y-intercept of ax plus by equals c will be gradient equals minus a over b and y-intercept equals c over b. For more information on rearranging equations, you can check out this other video on the top right corner there. And of course, afterwards, we will get the linear equation back to the formula y equals mx plus c as it should be. And you can do whatever you want to do it. But the final one now, what happens to a question if it only gives you 1 point and the gradient? Well, obviously, you can be a nerd and just substitute the point into the equation. But remember, we're in a test mode, time pressurized. So what happens is a third equation for these kind of situations. Yeah, I'm not going to read this. X and y are still variables of the line. M is still m, the gradient, and x1, y1 are going to be the coordinates of a point for you to substitute into the question. Let's say we get a point, 3, 5, and a gradient of 2. Substituting them into the question, we'll get y minus 5 equals 2, brackets x minus 3, close brackets. Expanding the brackets, we'll get y minus 5 equals 2x plus 6. Rearranging, i.e. kicking the minus 5 to the other side, we will get y equals 2x minus 1. And that's it. The answer with literally 1 line of substitution if you're good enough. Just one more point. The question that required this equation will not seriously give you the gradient, but will ask you to figure it out by giving you parallel lines and perpendicular lines. 2 points on that. Parallel lines are lines that have the same gradient. The gradient of 2 perpendicular lines multiply up to become 1. So basically the negative reciprocals of each other, if you want terminology. Questions are usually going to ask you to find a gradient yourself, but it isn't hard as long as you know what to do. So let's give a summary. The basic formula of a linear equation is y equals mx plus c, where m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept. It could sometimes be given as ax plus by equals c, but it could be arranged to get back to the original form, in which the coefficient of y is only going to be 1 and it stands alone. When only a gradient and a point is given, instead of writing multiple steps, remember this equation. Substituting them in, you'll get the answer immediately. And what we just said 30 seconds ago, parallel lines have the same gradient and the gradient of the perpendicular lines multiply up to become minus 1. With that, you have successfully mastered the art of solving linear equations. And the final thing, the question I've shown at first should be solved like this. Do you think you can solve it? Leave a comment down the section. But don't start celebrating it. There's more to go, and here is your next destination.